After the U.S. created the Constitution, the South refused on signing it. In 1783, the Constitutional Congress met and the Articles of the Confederation had decided to divide taxes according to land value. Population had been a big issue between the North and the South, since the South had less men than the North. Many ratios over this argument were brought up. Three-fourths, one-halves, one-fourths, not one was chosen. Finally, James Wilson and Robert Sherman spoke up. Three-fifths, they said. James Wilson and Robert Sherman's freedoms and rights were their main priorities. Around 1787, the Three-Fifths Compromise was passed. After endless fighting, the U.S. House of Representatives decided to sign the first compromise, which took place in Philadelphia. Slaves would be counted as three-fifths of a person. Everyone counted their lives thinking everything would get better. Everyone would have equal rights, but little did they know that many problems were still rising. Once the problems had begun, it would be very difficult to turn them around. The Three-Fifths Compromise gave Southerners more representation in the House of Representatives, power at a political level, control in the presidential elections, and the opportunity to increase their population to exceed the amount that the North had. This was also a chance for the South to compete with the North in the elections. It is ironic that it was a liberal Northern delegate, James Wilson of Pennsylvania, who proposed the Three-Fifths Compromise as a way to gain Southern support for a new framework of the government. Southern states have one representation apportioned by the population. Equality between North and South didn't last as long as everyone thought because of the North's rapid population growth compared to the South. The South's population didn't grow much because it still turned out to be low, even with the slaves counting as three-fifths of the population. Even though the compromise didn't last long, it boosted the South's representation. South had no other advantages than the presidential rights. So what if the Three-Fifths Compromise wasn't passed? Almost everything would have been the same as before. Three-Fifths Compromise did increase the population, but only for a short period of time. North would still have more population and more advantages than the South, which frustrated the Southern people. One thing that actually would change for the South was the fact they wouldn't have any more power and presidential rights. North would have took over the House of Representatives. The Three-Fifths Compromise has only caused and kept the rivalry between the North and the South.